Hey, everybody. It's Carter Harkins, and thanks for being here today. We are having a great conversation today with Lou Curley. Lou runs Lou Curley's Chimney service in, I want to say, well, it's right outside Philadelphia. Where are you located exactly?
I'm directly west of West Philadelphia in Drexel Hill, Pennsylvania.
Drexel Hill, that's the name.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of the name of the city. So you've been running a successful business for a while, and you've been a client of ours too, just in full disclosure. Recently, we got to talking about automation, and you kind of expressed interest in that. So I wanted to talk a little bit about your journey with that, and you know what you've learned and how that's been for you. First of all, let me welcome everybody to this particular live stream. If you let's see. Just looking to see here. If you guys would just give us a thumbs up or a heart, let us know that you're out there in the audience. That would be awesome. Always appreciate it when you help us spread the love and get Facebook and YouTube to pay attention to us more. So thank you for that. Thanks, Katie, for that. I appreciate it. Okay. If you have questions while this interview is going on, questions for me, questions for Lou, make sure that you comment those in the comments, and I'll pick those up and be able to ask Lou those questions and share that as we go. So Lou, I know when we first started talking, you were looking at different ways of automating some things, and just talk a little bit about what made you interested in automation for your office. What was kind of going on that made you think, you know what, we need to look at this?
So it was more company-wide than just the office. I sort of wanted consistency, consistent reports, consistent experience, consistent, just the whole, it doesn't matter who in my company goes out. I just wanted the whole job to go the same way, the whole follow-up to go the same way. Not, I mean, I've been working on it a while, but having it automated is less work on my end. So that's what I was looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. So a little bit about your business. I know Kim is in the office. Is there anyone else in the office that works with her?
Not at this time. There is not.
Okay. Yeah. So Kim's handling a lot of communication tasks, doing a lot of that kind of stuff, and new systems, new ways of doing things can definitely, start mounting up, piling up as additional time spent working on things. So automation definitely addresses that kind of an issue. So what were some of your big goals? Like, if we could get automation that would help us, you've already mentioned consistency, which is definitely one of those big goals. What were some of the other goals? I mean, were you looking to reduce the amount of time to do certain things?
Yeah, I mean, so I wanted more follow up on the estimates, more review requests, less missed appointments, just all that kind of stuff. That, I used to have other systems before. I mean, I use your guys' thing now, but I used to have other systems before where, you had to each individually, if you want a review request, you have to do this. If you want to follow up on an estimate, you have to do this. And it was like double, triple, 3, 4 times entering the same stuff again and again and again. And to be perfectly honest with you, it wouldn't get done. It wouldn't get done enough. And now there's more reviews. There's more closed estimates. I never miss appointments anymore. People always get their day before text and then the phone call if they don't respond. Everything, just the flow is so much easier.
Yeah. And one of the things that I love about what automation can do, and at least the way that we approach it, our philosophy is automation should always happen at the moment that it needs to happen, and not be so, it shouldn't be complicated, right? Like, let's get rid of double entry so that you don't have 15 systems to try to put stuff in and monitor and manage and all of that. But it should also, at its core be, happen when you want it to happen and not happen when you don't want it to happen. So one of the challenges with automation that we find is you can over automate something to the point that things are happening even when you didn't intend for them to happen, just because the system is set. Most automation is dumb, meaning, it's not intelligent behind the scenes, knowing what someone in the office knows about Mrs. Smith and how she absolutely throws a fit anytime anybody asks for her email address and doesn't want to, receive any text messages and all of that. So suddenly our system, because it's fully automated and doesn't know that about Mrs. Smith, suddenly it's sending out text messages, reminders, and emails, and Mrs. Smith is having a, meltdown because nobody's listening to her and nobody's paying attention. So that's the sort of thing that I like about our approach to, and what automation can do is, you decide when it's ready, when it's time to trigger it. You hand it off to the automation. The automation does what it needs to do, because now it's sort of that best of both worlds combination between a human being who's intervened to decide when it's appropriate, and the automation that just takes it from there and actually executes it and gets it done. So tell me a little bit about, I mean, one of the things that we automated for you is open estimate follow-ups. And this was a part of the business you were already using, another tool called Closing Commander. And but in terms of like automation just doing what it's supposed to do and making money, like not just saving you time but actually getting more dollars into your pocket, talk a little bit about how automation in that area has really helped. Like, are you getting more feedback from customers as a result of following up on those estimates? Are you learning more about, what their feelings are about the estimate and all of that?
Well, I mean, not directly, but I do know a lot of times if you don't follow up, you don't get the estimate. So that's money in your pocket if you do follow up. And that was one of the issues I had with the other program, and a million other programs that there are, is with the double entry. If it would get skipped, or it would get done at the end of the day, or it wouldn't get done at the end of the day, or you'd forget. Right now it's you hit a button and it just automatically does it. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it's like one of the things that we hear from people that don't follow up is, or start following up after not following up at all on estimates, is just by asking the question, are you still interested, or is this something that you still want to do?
Right.
And if not, why not? Then they're getting a lot of feedback from customers that just reply to the email and say, "Oh, thanks so much for following up. We really do want to do this, but this thing came up and we've got to do it first," or our, um, just whatever it may be. They give you a better idea of what their timeline is.
Yep.
They may even help you understand, well, we felt like this was really expensive and we don't understand why, so we're looking around, shopping around. And that kind of feedback, you can sort of start to imply, oh, well, maybe we've not done a really good job explaining why it costs what it costs. And that kind of thing. Just it's like those little nuggets that you get just because you're following up. So I didn't know if you were seeing that kind of thing too.
No, there is that. And then like sometimes they can't afford the full, let's say a fireplace restoration at this time, but they still want to stop the water from coming in, and they still want a cap on the top. So they'll let you know, can we do this for now, and then we'll work with the other stuff later. Whereas before, it could have been, we can do this, and if you don't follow up, you don't know why they're not doing anything, and then you can at least get something out of it, and then follow up again at a later date.
Yeah. It's just kind of throttle it. So are you doing that automation in the office? I mean, is Kim the one who triggers that, or do you have your guys in the field follow up on the estimates?
I made this real simple, I don't know, fillable PDF thing, 4 questions. And it's like the text fill that out, and then Kim does what the text tell her to do. Like,
okay.
if like there's certain people who, let's say a review, you could give them the worst news in the world, but if you think that they're going to give you a good review, then you follow up and ask them for a review. Or if you can tell that they are not going to give you a good review for whatever reason, they don't like the news, or they're, a million other reasons, then you click no on that. I have yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. And the same thing with follow-ups. Like sometimes the people just like, the way we do it is we inspect your system and then we make a solution for it. But sometimes people right there tell us they're not interested, but I'm still going to provide the solution just so you have the numbers in your head or whatever. But I'm probably not going to follow up if you tell me you're not interested in it. And the same thing goes with all the I sort of forget what the system does. If I should put them in the repeat customer thing.
Yeah.
Like if the fireplace is trash and they tell me they're never going to use it, I'm probably not going to send them marketing emails. Whereas
forward scheduling and that
correct.
kind of thing.
Yeah. Stuff like that. Yes.
Yeah. I love what you've done there. And you told me that you were doing that where the guys in the field indicate what they think is appropriate in terms of follow-up, and then Kim gets that form and then triggers the automations from the office to be able to do that. Since you told me that, though, I've had another customer that would really like for the techs in the field to be able to do exactly that. So let me run this by you. This is a little inside baseball for everybody. You're gonna hear how we like to develop things in coordination with our clients and based on their needs. So I like to ask questions and then get feedback about whether or not that would help. And this is the kind of thing that I do with all of our clients around automation. So let me ask this question. If we could create a way for your technician, like if the system knew who the technician was that was going to a particular job, and then at the end of the day, that technician would get, if they did 3 appointments that day or whatever, they get 3 emails, one for each of those clients in their company inbox, their email. They would just go in, open the email, and click on the link in that email to go to a form that they could check the box to leave it, ask this customer for a review, put this customer in the forward schedule group so that when it's time to forward schedule, we'll include them in that list. And follow up on this estimate. Here's how much it was and whatever, and then clicks in. And instead of sending that to Kim in the office, it just automatically processed those automations right there and did whatever it was that technician said was appropriate to do. Would that be useful to you? Like save a step so it doesn't have to go to Kim?
Honestly, the way we do it is so easy. It's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. So
yeah,
I think they're both good solutions. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I love automation, especially the tools that we use to do it, because they're really flexible. And depending on the office and depending on what they need, we can do things a little differently to accommodate those needs. So I thought I'd just ask, because that's that's a big question when it comes to, we always spend a little bit of time with every client trying to understand, how does your business run? Like, what is the process from the moment a customer calls all the way through the experience with you, so that we know how to kind of come alongside it and complement it with the best automation. So Terry's asking this question, Lou, maybe you can answer. How many trucks you have in the field, which field management software you're currently using?
We have 5 trucks in the field, and we use Smart Service and iFleet. And if anybody wants that form, I can send it to them. I don't care. It's literally the furthest thing from rocket science, but I don't mind sharing it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So reach out to Lou if you're interested in that form for sure. Taylor's asking a question, so it looks like Taylor is joining, just watching from out there. He says, automation has automation saved the time that you had expected?
It definitely did, but it more solved everybody. At least let me know if we should follow up in whatever way with everybody. So that's what I like more about it. But yeah, it's saved. There's like no time. I mean, I think it's what do you guys call it? A hotkey. It takes her 2 seconds to do it. It's real easy. All this stuff's really easy to do.
Yeah, cool. So you mentioned the form.
Mm-hmm.
What other improvements? Like, just give us a little bit. I mean, this is live and going out to the world, but I'm not too afraid of getting a live report card. Tell us a little bit about, like, if you could change anything right now. Is there anything in specific? We probably need Kim in the hot seat for this question, but
Right.
like, if there's anything that you think could be improved or made better, what do you think it would be?
I don't really have a good enough answer for that. I would have to ask him for that. But on my end, it does exactly what I thought it was going to do. No issues.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I am going to ask him that question, by the way. It's on my list,
Gotcha.
just to check in with her and see how things are going. But I thought I'd ask you just live.
Yeah. If there was a problem, I'd tell you. And she won't hold back either.
Yeah. So with Smart Service, talk a little. I mean, that's a bit of a challenge to automate on that particular platform because it's not cloud based.
Right.
So we had to engineer some ways to get information out of a local database on your server and make that connection with our system so that we could pass data from Smart Service that is not in the cloud over to our system, which is in the cloud. And we developed an automation, kind of a robot, if you will, that just lives on your computer, and you can hotkey it just using a combination of keys on your computer that wakes up that automation. You plug in one little bit of information about the customer from Smart Service, it grabs the rest of the information out of Smart Service about that customer and then sends it over to us along with instructions on which actions you want it to do, like, follow up on an estimate or send a confirmation and an appointment reminder to this customer. So it really is just like a hot. I mean, it's control one, and it pops up and does what it does, and then closes down and waits again. So it's like an assistant that's just standing there ready to take an order and go and then get it done. And that seems to be working out okay.
Yeah, she likes it. She has not. Cool. I mean, she has called you guys and asked a couple questions, but none of them were complaints. She just wants a couple things fixed, but they were all fixed pretty quickly.
Absolutely. No, we're more than happy to tweak things and change things as we go. Terry is asking this question. We're currently looking for a field service program, even though we're a one truck company. Are there programs that are better for our situation? The benefit of reducing redundancy and saving my time in the office is key for me. Yeah, great questions. Lou, I don't know if you've ever looked at any other ones. I've got some suggestions that I could throw out there.
I forget the name of it, but I know. Yeah, what are I know the one Jake Cromwell uses, Dave Stewart uses. They swear by it. I think
Service Pal is
Service Pal. That's the one. Yeah. But I tried it personally. I didn't like it, but that's me. That's my personality. That, I mean, those guys are both respectable guys. I respect their opinion. So
yeah, and Jake really uses it. I mean, he's shown me kind of his setup with it and how he's pushing it to do what it does, and he makes really good use of it. Terry, I would definitely suggest taking a look at Service Pal, servicepal.com. As far as bang for the buck in the chimney industry, the customizable forms for chimney and inspections and things like that you can do with it are pretty impressive. And it's really good for smaller businesses, at least that I've seen. Tends to be smaller businesses that use it. So I think it might be a really good fit. So I would check out Service Pal. That would be my top recommendation. Other solutions that you might take a look at it as well, I would start with, or after Service Pal, might be House Call Pro. They're much more involved in terms of what it can do. It's a lot more complicated in terms of setting it up and everything. But once it's set up, it can be really powerful. I kind of call it Service Titan Lite, and I'm sure you've heard of Service Titan. There's a lot of people in the industry, a lot of buzz about Service Titan. Incredibly complex, incredibly expensive. I think House Call Pro is kind of like Service Titan Lite. It gets you 80-90% of the way there in a lot of those features, but does it for a lot less money. and a little less complexity too. So those are just kind of my thoughts about that. Linda's asking a question. How do your customers like the communication that your automation provides? You getting any feedback about that?
My customers?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I mean, it's written like we would write it, so it's just like they're getting normal stuff. So they don't really know that it's automated. Like someone asked me today, yesterday, who sent me this email? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, that's our system, and she was surprised that was an automated thing. So I don't really get too much feedback like it's automated. The only feedback I get is them replying to the emails like they're replying to me or the tech that was there.
Yeah. So I know with Customer Engine that you're using now, text is a lot more of a viable way of communicating. Is Kim doing a lot more texting back and forth with customers now?
It depends on how they contact us, but yes, we would before that wasn't an option. We didn't even have that as an option. And there's if you use the payment link that you guys through Stripe or whatever it is,
Yeah.
People can pay with Apple Pay, which I just found out the other day. Someone was real happy, gave me a good review because they could pay with Apple Pay. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that. So I can let other people know now,
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
very cool. I love that text to pay, just be able to send out a quick link and have somebody pay an invoice, especially if they're like a late invoice or somebody who hasn't paid when they're supposed to, just to be able to send them that link and collect really quickly.
Yep.
Let's see. Chuck has a question. Thanks everybody for being here. Linda, Chuck, Terry, thank y'all for joining us today and asking great questions. Chuck says, having the precursor to Customer Engine, which was a product that we designed called Retention Engine, he says that I relied on with my service business. I love the new system and how it works with other platforms. He also used ServicePal, loved it, and use it and assist my consulting clients with that ServicePal. Yeah, so it seemed to truncate a little there. I didn't understand the last of that message. I think what he meant is he customer clients of his in his consulting business that are looking for software, he recommends ServicePal as well. Oh, let's see. Have you ever thought about moving away from Smart Service? Or are you pretty married to it?
It was a real big pain in the ass to get on, and it'll be a real big pain in the ass to get off. And if I have a problem to solve and that's the solution, I'll do it. But other than that, I'm gonna stick with it because there's no reason to do. I mean, it's a big move. You know what I mean? I don't want to do that. Yeah, no. One of the things that I love about Customer Engine is because it works with Smart Service. A lot of the limitations of Smart Service and things that systems like Service Titan are doing, with a lot more integration around customer communications and follow-ups and reviews and texting back and forth and all of that. Smart Service is limited in those ways, but if you get something like Customer Engine that works integrally with that software, then you really aren't missing out on anything. And it can extend the life of software that you don't want to leave simply by adding this onto it. You know what I mean? It's like, instead of having all your eggs in one basket, you're adding something that really adds a lot more value and keeps you where you are, so you don't have to go through the pain and heartache of switching field management software packages. Yep. That's cool. Why do you ask? You don't like Smart Service? So I'm not a big fan, but at this time, when it comes to what it does, it's as solid as they come. It's not like they're offering bad service at all. They offer great service. It's not that their product is inferior in any way. It's just it's a bit of a dinosaur in regard to the fact that it's not cloud-based and it's located on a server, in your location. And this is actually a really good question. I've been thinking a lot about that because the question comes up, or the comment is made often about people not wanting to put their customer data in the cloud.
looking at that as I don't want somebody else to have my data and be held hostage by them or anything else. And actually, with the increase that we've seen with customers dealing with ransomware on their computers and servers, you get caught in a situation where your data is on a server that has been locked up with ransomware and they're wanting $20,000 to get it back. You're in a situation where they could shut your business down for a while. That could be incredibly painful. And with a cloud-based system, if your laptop or your computer in the office gets ransomware on it, you can literally throw out that computer, buy another one at Best Buy for $1,200, log in and be back in business before lunch. I mean, it's just that easy. So that's why I think the cloud is the future. And Smart Service had a product that they had talked about moving toward that was going to be cloud-based, but I haven't really seen a lot of movement on that. I don't know where that is. So to be fair to Smart Service, I'm not going to be critical of them for not having a cloud product, because they kind of do. I just don't know why they aren't migrating more people from the server-based product to the cloud, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So the one problem is I have 2 locations I wanted to have people working in the office at, and that's a nightmare with Smart Service because it's not cloud-based.
Yeah,
it's doable, but you got to do workarounds, which are, I don't know. But as you can see, I still just have Kim in the office. I was going to have some help, but it was too hard to do before this fall. So I'll get it done before next fall, but it shouldn't be hard. That should not be hard.
Cool. Renee says it's not so much about them having my data in the cloud. I don't want to be down when the internet goes down as it does. I like having my data in my house. Yeah, no, I get the sentiment for sure. Renee, just make sure you back up that data off your computer. Don't back it up on a hard drive that's attached to the computer, but just put it somewhere else on a thumb drive or whatever that's a completely separate thing, so that if you do get in a ransomware situation or have a catastrophic hardware failure, that you can keep that database, rocking and rolling and working for you without losing any of your data. That's the main thing. If you keep it in-house, then you have full responsibility for it. If it's kept in the cloud, then you have systems that are redundant, that if one of their servers goes down, that's okay, because your data lives in a way that it's fully retrievable in other ways in other places. So I'm going to jump around here a minute. We got a couple more questions. Taylor's asking, what was the automation setup easier, or was it a painful experience?
To me?
Yeah, to you or Kim?
On our end, it was easy. I mean, you guys set it all up on the back end, and there honestly wasn't that much of a learning curve to it. I mean, we set it up when we were a little bit slower, like in I don't know, July or something like that, and that's our slowest month. So we just did it then, and by the time we got busier, we were going. So the setup was all you guys, but the learning curve wasn't too bad.
Cool. Yeah, we try to make it dead simple, for sure. But I appreciate hearing that. Chuck says the beauty of Spark's customer engine is all in use, even if you are tech challenged. Where other systems almost require a dedicated employee to work just on their system, which is an added expense, lowering the bottom line. Yeah, this is so true. That's about Service Titan. They have a marketing module that does some of the things that the customer engine does, quite a few of those things, and then does quite a bit more than we can do, because it has access to the actual data about a customer and their jobs and products and all of that. So you can really slice and dice and get dialed in on your marketing to specific subsets of customers based on what they've purchased in the past or how long ago, all of those kinds of things, which is cool. And it's like, woo, let's do that, until you realize that setting that up and getting it working for you is really a full-time job. And in fact, Service Titan really focuses its energy and effort at companies that are, 15 million plus in annual revenue and HVAC companies that are running 50 trucks or more and that kind of, I mean, really large companies. And those kinds of companies have a different economy, right? I mean, a different consideration when it comes to, the resources that they can throw at a problem or an opportunity. And so it's not uncommon at all for 100, 200 truck operation and HVAC that's running Service Titan to have 4 or 5 full-time Service Titan people that do nothing but get in the data of the database and figure out how to mine it for opportunities to increase revenue. So that's just outside of the realm of possibility for small and mid-sized businesses. And that's what I love Customer Engine for. I mean, and it's more than just about software. I mean, Customer Engine, it's not like, okay, you sign up, you pay, you get a welcome email with a login, and then good luck. We're really in there with you and providing that service in addition. The platform, the software is just the way that we can deliver our service to you. So this is starting to sound like an infomercial, and I apologize. I'm going to cut it out. Spark's awesome about making things easy. That's why we love them. Well, thank you. And with that, we'll stop the infomercial. We're actually a couple minutes over time. Lou, thanks so much, man. I appreciate your feedback and willingness to kind of share that experience and, and just kind of help people understand what's possible for people in different situations.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, man. We'll have a great rest of the day. And for everybody out there who's been watching, thanks so much for the hearts and the likes. And appreciate you joining us. Great questions today. Really appreciate those too. Just real quick, next week, we're going to be talking about creating a great blog post. What are the secret ingredients that go into writing a blog post that people will actually read and that Google will actually pay attention to? So make sure you tune into that next week. A reminder that Spark Live can also be found as a podcast after it's recorded. You can find it both on Facebook, the recorded version of the video, the YouTube as well, but then as an audio podcast on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, or wherever you consume your podcasts. So check that out too. All right. Thanks, everybody. And thank you, Lou. I appreciate your time, man.
All right.
All right.